Hi, my name is Damilola. I study chemical and environmental engineering. I'm in my second year on that course, but before I did that, I did a foundation year in engineering and physical sciences. I grew up in Cheshunt in Hertfordshire. I went to secondary school from year 7 to 13 within central London, school called City of London School for Girls. Shortly after I started university in my first year, I moved to Kent in a town called Maidstone. It's a little bit small. I would say because I've been at university most of the time, I haven't really interacted with my community there, but it is a nice area to live and it's quiet and yeah, it's a nice place. In terms of education for GCSEs, I have done all the sciences because they were compulsory for us, and maths and English as well. I chose to do geography, design, technology, product design, music, and also Mandarin, although my Mandarin now is very sketchy. It's been a while. And starting university, I wanted to go straight into chemical and environmental engineering. But unfortunately, because I was in COVID times, I missed my offer by 1 grade. So I did the foundation year instead, which I guess I was quite unsure about to begin with. I had only really heard foundation years mentioned in passing. I didn't know what it was going to be like, if it would be worth it, you know, the extra year and such. But I found that as soon as I started the course, I was so grateful that I was on it. It got me used to the university environment. It also helped that the course was a little bit less intense than the actual chemical and environmental engineering course. So it gave me the chance to kind of go out more, meet more friends, be part of societies. In my first year, I was part of Afro-Caribbean Society and also this Christian society called Radical Youth Nottingham, and I think being part of this society has really helped get me out of my shell, interacting with people. It really made my experience, to be honest. And then carrying on into second year, when I started my course, I already had a really good foundation. I knew how to utilize the university resources, where to go if I needed help, that sort of thing. I knew how to revise, which I think is something that people overlook. Like, you get to university and it's so different compared to secondary school. You have to learn a new way of kind of getting information, helping it stick, so you know you pass your exams and that type of thing. So I kind of was able to adapt to all of that. And I continue to be part of the Radical Youth Society, but for Trentside, which is a slightly different one. And it's been great, honestly. I've loved my university experience so far. I think I'd have to say well, as a Christian, I have a deep love for God, and I've come to know him more and more since I started university. I know it can be quite, I guess, a controversial answer because everyone has their own beliefs and that sort of thing. But for me, on those days when I just don't feel like getting out of bed, what motivates me is just spreading the love of God, how it has touched my heart and how I would want it to touch other people. I think that for me is my motivation. So for me, I guess everyone around me was going to university. That was kind of all I had ever known. I don't think at the time I knew anyone who had done an apprenticeship or who had just not gone to uni at all and gone on to work. So I kind of just assumed, like, I guess I'm going to university. I didn't really think had any other options, to be honest. And I guess my parents also expected me to do that as well. So yeah, I just kind of always knew that I was going to go to uni, and I wanted to go as well because I had heard people talk about their experiences, how uni teaches you kind of how to live by yourself, be independent, to grow up a bit. You learn how to pay bills, you learn about taxes, which, you know, people complain that they don't teach you about in school. So I wanted that experience as well. I wanted to see what it was like living by myself, if I could handle it, and what it would be like to kind of do things on my own. So I kind of always wanted to go to university, and that's what I did. And with regards to Nottingham, I really liked the area, first of all. I liked the campus as well. University Park campus is beautiful, and Jubilee campus as well. I know its buildings have won awards and that sort of thing. I really liked the look of it, and I liked the community as well. I had heard good things about it as well. I had a couple of relatives who had graduated from there recently, and they were telling me how much they enjoyed it. And it also seemed like a place where I could find like-minded individuals. I was told that diversity was also like quite good within the city. So I was excited to go, and also researching for my course, the graduate prospects looked really good. And I know that it's a Russell Group university, so it was kind of the university I was most passionate about when applying. I think for me, the main thing that everybody spoke about when I spoke to people who were like quite close to my age who had just started university was like the going out experience and the partying. But they also spoke about the stress of their courses. So I think when I started, I was like, oh, so it seems like people have a good social life, but there's also a really heavy academic side to things, and you have to be able to balance the two. So before I started, I was kind of thinking, I wonder how I'm going to be able to do both of those things. I guess in the end it worked out in terms of socially. I don't even really go out that much. It's only kind of society stuff that I do. And then I might hang out with friends. And I've been able to pretty much balance all my coursework and that sort of thing. But I think before I started, that was definitely a concern of mine. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to handle the heavy workload because people would always tell me, the jump from like year 11 to year 12 is nothing compared to the jump from year 13 to first year of university. And I wasn't entirely sure how to prepare myself. So I guess that was one worry that I had. Before starting uni, I guess I was also excited to make new friends. I had friends in sixth form from secondary school, but I was looking forward to kind of branching out and I guess seeing what other perspectives people have. At university, it's a lot of different types of people coming together, and you can gain a lot just by having a conversation with someone in your course. So I think I was also excited to explore in that way. I guess I was also excited to have my own living space, kind of decorate it the way I wanted to, had my Pinterest boards sorted already before I came. So I think for the most part, I was excited about life at university. My worries were just, I guess, about the academic side of things, but everything else I was really looking forward to. Finding out more about myself through figuring out my own interests outside of, I guess, secondary school and being in the house with my family, like me by myself. What do I like doing with my time? What type of things do I enjoy? What type of people do I like speaking to? I guess I was most looking forward to finding out more about me, and I definitely did. And I think specifically about Nottingham, honestly, what made it stand out to the other universities that I applied to was the number of people like me, I guess. I had been told about that there were lots of other like Afro-Caribbean individuals, and I had heard about the Afro-Caribbean Society as well, and they had all these events that they put on their Instagram, and I was like, oh, this looks cool. And then I also saw the events that Radical Youth would have as well, and I was like, oh, this sounds really great. Like, I can really make friends here, and people talk about coming to uni and finding their friends for life sort of thing. And yeah, I think I was excited to do the same. So during my first week, it was actually quite weird. I know a lot of people moved into either like flats or maybe in houses with other people. I actually ended up being in a studio for my first year at Broadgate Park. It's kind of in Beeston in NG9. It wasn't really planned, but I ended up going with the studio option anyway because studios and ensuite flats were the same price that year. I was a bit nervous about making friends because I was kind of in an enclosed space, no shared area with people really. But I ended up being in like a long corridor with all these other studios, well, people in other studios. And I was part of a group chat. And I think during the first week, someone messaged and they were like, oh, we should all like meet up to chat and, you know, like find out who's kind of within our building. So we met up outside, we were all kind of talking. And I feel like that's how I made some of my first few friends, I think. We had all these great conversations and I was like, oh, it's actually not so bad being in a studio. We walked around, like, I guess Broadgate Park is quite spread out, has lots of different buildings. So we kind of walked around, explored. It was really nice. I guess to me, EDI is all about a space where you feel free to be yourself, just to be authentic. And know that regardless of your background or your choices in life, how you choose to live it, you're not going to be judged. I think that's kind of what EDI is about at its core for me. You can gain perspectives from people who have come from different backgrounds. I feel like if everyone within the engineering field came from the same background, they kind of all looked the same and they all thought the same, things such as creativity just wouldn't really exist within the field. That's where that comes from, people who have gone through different life experiences. They understand things differently, and you bring all that knowledge together and you're able to produce amazing things. You know, you can create all of these plans for buildings and designs, and that's literally how you change the world. You can't really do it if you stick to one area and think you've got all the knowledge in that place. You have to get it from other places, and that's kind of how the beauty of engineering comes about. My course helped with this. When it comes to people with different backgrounds, I just like to be open-minded. I think there's no point having conversations with people and interacting with them if you're going to be closed-minded about them, and think that it's kind of like the way you are is the way everyone else should be. That's not, well, to me, that's not really the point of life. It's about everyone being different. That's how you gain things. So I think I try to be really open-minded, and I'm quite a curious person. I like asking questions. So about things that I don't know about, I would just ask about the person. That's kind of led me to have some really nice, like authentic conversations with people. Like we've started off as strangers, or maybe just kind of like we know each other through maybe a mutual friend or that sort of thing. And that's how we kind of build up a connection. And it's been like really nice. So I always try to be open-minded and just ask questions. I guess, for example, like, I've had some people maybe make comments about my hair, for example, that, oh, like they might have made a comment out of their ignorance, then they didn't fully understand like the way African hair might work, how it's different to other people's hair. And it's the sort of thing where it's like, if you don't know, you can ask. Like, I won't be offended. It's all about the intention that you have when you ask. If it's just you genuinely trying to find out more, I'm not going to be offended by you saying, oh, so how do you put in like your hair, like do you take it out often, that sort of thing, how do you manage it? I'm open to answering those questions, and I feel like other people are too. Just ask with good intentions, like not trying to offend or trying to be rude. And there's no need to be defensive about your lack of knowledge as well, because that person will fill in the gaps and it's totally fine. I guess the first one I'll start with is Afro-Caribbean Society, because that's the first one I joined in first year. I remember they had a sports day towards the beginning of the term, around I think between September and October, maybe November. I remember I came with I think a couple of other people from my building, actually from my accommodation. The reason why I joined ACS was to meet other people like me, and I was definitely able to do that. It feels a bit like a safe space, like, you kind of understand me. Like, it's nice to get other people's perspectives on things and to talk to people from different backgrounds, but it is also nice to kind of get that sense of home from people that are like, you understand what I mean when I talk about this sort of thing, or like these strict parents growing up, or the way they do things in the house, that sort of thing. So I liked being a part of that society for a time, and then I left it. I guess the second one I joined was Radical Youth, a Christian society. It helped me increase my faith a lot. Shout out to Trentside, because it's been a great blessing meeting other people like me as well in terms of faith. And that has been great because even though we all share the same faith, we are also coming from different backgrounds. So I still get that kind of interaction from people who are not necessarily completely like me. They've also had different events. We recently had like a worship event, and I joined their dance team and their acting team as well. I'm also part of my local church's choir, so I've been able to get involved in those things, and I feel like they've helped me to express myself as well, which has been really nice. Being part of something greater than yourself, that sort of thing. Aside from that, I've been part of other societies here and there. I really like roller skating, so I was part of the rollerblading society for a short time. I went to one of their sessions with a friend, and I used to roller skate at a roller rink in Nottingham in my free time as well. That was really fun. I didn't do it for long because I had to kind of balance my commitments with my course, but I do still like roller skating in my free time, like when I go back home and that sort of thing. I was also temporarily part of ice skating society, because I had roller skated for a while. It was quite easy for me to get the hang of it, and I just wanted to see, where I could take it. I didn't stick with it very long, but I went to a taster session that they had with a friend maybe a few months ago, and it was really nice. I don't really have time to do ice skating, but I guess on a day out with a friend, I'm happy to do so. It's really fun. There was an event on campus called Girls' Night In. I think it happens maybe twice a year. It's like a big sports event, and they have it in the David Ross Sports Hall. And It's for women only, and you can do all of these different activities for free. Like they open up their rock climbing wall, which is really fun. It's difficult, but I really enjoyed it. And I was able to also try out, I think, dodgeball as well. Tennis as well, I believe. They even opened up like their mini spa, I think it is. Yeah, it was a really nice time. They had these different freebies. They had a photo booth. I've been a couple of times now, and when they have the next one, I hope to be there as well. With regards to my course, I was also part of the Chemical and Environmental Engineering Society. I didn't really stay active within the society too long. It was more a thing of I kind of signed up to receive news and information about opportunities, which have been very helpful. Things like openings for like spring week days or insight days or internships. That's been really helpful. And within my course, they share lots of information about those type of opportunities as well. So that's been really good. What else? I kind of think that's been it in terms of like societies and things that I've gotten engaged in. But I like trying new things, so I'm open to experimenting. Oh, I guess I should also say that in my free time, I like playing the piano a lot. And the university has these music rooms where you can go in, you can book a time, even if you don't study music, it's open to all. And you can just use their rooms and their instruments, you can just practice and play away, and it's lovely. I think I was a bit nervous when it came to interacting with people that I didn't know. Everyone always tells you before you start university that, oh, you'll find your people, it'll be fine, everyone's nervous, trust me. But the thing is, everybody says the same thing, and I kind of just thought that maybe everybody was lying to me and maybe I would be different, because the prospect of just walking up to someone and being like, oh, hi, like just starting a conversation, I'd literally shake. I can't do that. And I remember before I started, I was searching on YouTube for like videos of like black women in engineering or black women in STEM at Nottingham and like their experiences in first year and that type of thing, trying to like find out more from them. And it was just like I could only gain so much until I started university. So I remember on my first day, I was so nervous. I was holding onto my bag so tight, didn't want my mum to leave. And then I just ended up running into someone literally walking up the stairs to my room. And somehow we started a conversation. I was like, oh, it really is easy. And then from that point on, it was just really easy to talk to people. You kind of have to, well, for me, I approach it with the mindset of just pretend you're someone who's really confident. And then when you pretend that you are, you suddenly become so. It's just kind of, yeah, be, I guess, who you want to be, even if it's acting to begin with. And then suddenly it's actually you. So when it comes to talking to new people now, I find it quite easy and I really like it as well. Because you never know what you'll gain from interacting with someone that you don't know. So I guess making friends has been great in that regard. The Christian Society I joined helped the most with that. Afro-Caribbean Society also helped quite a bit within my first year, and also joining group chats before I joined. I can't even remember how I'd find out about them, but I remember I was part of a couple of WhatsApp groups and a Snapchat group, I think, and I got talking to people that way, like, oh, you're doing this course, so am I, let's talk a little bit. So like, you know, when you start the course, at least you're familiar with somebody. So yeah. I would say do it, first of all. Definitely go for it. University is a wonderful place to grow. You don't leave the same way that you came. And you'll be amazed at what you find out about yourself. And I think it's good to have that kind of insight into your own character and also to build it up through interacting with people, living by yourself, learning how to manage your time, your finances. It's hard, but you get the hang of it. And then once you graduate and you're actually really properly doing life as an adult in the professional world, working, whatever you choose to do after, you find that, all those mini interactions that I had in university, all those little things I did with my time, the times when I, you know, lived alone, that sort of thing, or maybe had messy flatmates, for example, they actually really helped me once I graduated and got into the working world. So I would definitely say university is a great investment and you should do it if you are able to. I know there are other options like doing an apprenticeship, which I don't know too much about, but for me, I would say that going to university was the right choice. So I would encourage anyone to make that choice as well. And I would encourage them to choose Nottingham too. There are so many societies, so many. I even forgot to mention that I went to a chess society taster session not too long ago and really enjoyed it. There are so many things that you can do, so many people that you can meet, and everyone that I've met has been open, and I've made some really great friends. I think there are some really quality people here, and even just the area itself, it's like a student place. Like you're going to meet lots of other students. You will feel at home after a bit of time. And the graduate prospects are amazing as well. Of course, it's a Russell group, but I know Nottingham already kind of advertises itself well, so I don't need to say all of that. But for me, Nottingham was definitely the right choice. And it's really beautiful, like Jubilee campus at night, just walking around is so nice. Yeah, I would definitely recommend university and the University of Nottingham.